as years go on, newer and better talent comes up. So it's not surprising that someone like Ovechkin, has come along, basically another Fedorov, and is just playing, he's playing at a high level. I do think the teams Fedorov was on were more talented in terms of goal scorers. I mean, if you look at the Red Wings and then look at the Capitals and you want to compare the Hall of Fame list in just the last 15 years, I mean, it's no comparison. The Wings blow out pretty much every team. So, I think there's a lot to be said. He's a great player, very talented. He plays both sides of the puck very well. So not taking anything away from him, he's deserving of passing and probably will be the all-time leader shortly. I just think it was the talent level when Fedorov was here was just a little deeper in terms of who's putting the puck in the net.
Right.
And over in Washington.
Right. I just thought that was an interesting note. Like I said, two of the names that I do know in the league right now are Ovechkin and, of course, Sid Crosby over in Pittsburgh. It's kind of...
Hi, baby.
Right. It's kind of scary to see that Jaromir Jagr is still at it down in Florida. But... yeah, I just thought that was an interesting note. So one new change, man, and I've heard a couple of different breakdowns on this, but overall, I'm kind of upbeat about it. The new overtime format, hockey has opted to go with a 3-on-3 lineup. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I love it. I think it opens up the ice to a level it's never been before. It's just more exciting. It's constant up and down the ice battling. Where in the 4-on-4 it was open, but still definitely a little more cluttered than the 3-on-3. The games are ending quicker in this new format than it did with 4-on-4. And it also limits the shootouts. Last year I think it was 70% of the games went to shootouts, 30% went to one in overtime. So far this year, flips. And, in terms of entertaining hockey, I think that's good because, let's face it, by the time you play 20-minute periods and you're going to play about a 5-minute overtime period, and then you got to go to a shootout, those goaltenders are exhausted.
Right.
So I don't think you're seeing, the best of the goaltender when you're probably seeing the best of the player because they're resting a little more in terms of, activity on the ice and the goalie. So, and it doesn't represent a true win or loss, I don't think, in a shootout. So I'm happy they went to a 3-on-3 to where it's more of a game being played and that's how it's being decided.
Right.
And I don't think it takes away from the big push for the shootout was to attract more fans. I still think it's a lot of goal scoring going on, throughout the game still, and then you're getting a lot of shots on net and a lot of scoring opportunities on this 3-on-3 and more breakaways and 2-on-1s, odd man rushes, so I still think very exciting, definitely more exciting than the 4-on-4, so I like the new format, I'm happy with it, and I think it's going to do well for the NHL and the game overall.
I give the NHL some credit, man. They had the strike back in 05 or 04 or something, 06, somewhere in there. They had the strike, and it didn't look like it was, it looked like a long road to get back. But they tore down a lot of stuff. They did some things that we're not sure the NFL and the NBA could do. They were very realistic where they were the NHL was as an organization. And where it stands in this country with American audiences and whatnot, and I just thought they handled it very well. Like I said, baseball's taking forever to implement instant replay. The NFL took forever to adjust the sudden death overtime rules, and I just it seems that hockey is pretty swift in trying to make improvements to his game. I don't want to stay on much longer because we just hit over an hour. One thing, I tried to watch some of the games last year in the postseason, man, and I was kind of disappointed that the decision, this is just a TV issue, but it seems like they went away from the tracker, the blue line or whatever they had on the puck. That's been done away with years ago or something.
Yeah, unfortunately, the NHL and ESPN had parted ways years ago, and they went with, NBC, which I'm not a fan of at all. And what they've done now is ESPN has signed a contract with the World Cup of Hockey, and there's been some talk of ESPN and the NHL working together again. You got Aaron Melrose on ESPN probably every other day talking hockey, so I think they're going back towards ESPN, and I think that would expand the sport's appearance and just overall better quality and see more games and whatnot. But the NHL has been able to adapt to the market and the different generations and what people want to see, and they do it in a way to where they still keep the game as the game is. And
right.
How it's meant to be played. So
right.
That's something I gotta, give them props on for being able to do.
Yeah, like I said, I was a fan of when they had that tracking feature on the games because it was easier to follow the puck. I know more experienced watchers such as yourself, it may or may have not been a distraction, but like I said, I just kind of enjoyed it. And when I did tune in last year and saw that it was gone, I didn't know what was going on, but I would prefer to have it. But like I said, I just credit it in general. It just seems like the league reacts very quickly. And my last statement I'll just say is that I know there's complaints always about officiating and the time that it takes to play a game and, instant replay and whatnot. But it just seems like some of the international sports, it just seems like a lot of the gameplay is really free flowing, and they're not set up to have some of the issues that we have in the NFL, the NBA, and even Major League Baseball. Some of the stuff that we're arguing, about come Monday or the day after the game, when we're complaining about all these things, even soccer, it seems like the international games don't have the conflict built into them the way, a pass interference, or did you get both feet down, were you down before the ball was out for a fumble? Like I said, it just seems like the international games are just more free flowing, and I really appreciate that about them.
Yeah, I think the NFL and maybe even the NBA, there's too much judgment involved with an official.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, this is what it is. This is how we call it. Like in the NHL, a trip's a trip. I mean, sometimes you let it go because it doesn't look so bad, but you call it based on what's in the book as black and white. Hooking the same way. Goals are all reviewed, and in other sports, everything's very. It's a judgment call, they say, and those are not reviewable, whereas all goals, all points are reviewed in hockey, and hockey's starting to have more instant replay. And what I think the NFL and the NCAA and I guess even the NBA can take out the NHL's book is there's a command post, they call it, in Toronto, and every game is broadcasted in this command center, as they call it, and that's where all questions of instant replay go, and they make the call. To whereas, the officials are making the call in the other sports. I can't tell, limited camera angles. So, I think that's a step maybe those sports should look into, is having a general location where all games are watched, and you have people that are really making these calls and studying the different angles to get these calls a little more accurate and correct when you're going to replay.
Right. All right, man. I'm gonna get you out of here. Just one quick last hitter, man. What? How do you see the who do you have in the Stanley Cup matchup?
Well, I'll give you my biased opinion because every year I think the Wings are going to win the Cup. I'd have to say the Red Wings and again the Blackhawks are the Kings, and if the Wings aren't in it from the East, I think it'd be Montreal and the Blackhawks are the Kings.
Okay. Hey man, I'm gonna have to bring you back on so we can dig more into some things. Like I said, with this weekend, college football and NFL and the World Series, I didn't get to look into some things as I wanted, but I do have some other questions for some of us who may be interested in getting into hockey. Maybe introducing a couple of the concepts that are just strictly related to hockey versus the other sports. So, I'll have some other questions in the future, and we'll check back in next week probably.
All right, that sounds good. Perfect. Love to be back.
All right, thanks, Ronnie. Take care, man.
All right, you too. Take care.
Peace.
You are listening to Hey, We Know Mine with show host Wood.
Hey, so I'm getting ready to get on out of here. I know hockey, like I said, it's not my strong suit, but I'm trying to I'm trying to branch out into different areas. And actually, as a fan, I'm just interested in really finding me something new to watch. Just out of having some different interests, and looking at some of the the big three in the U.S. with basketball, baseball, and football, obviously. Just looking at, and then being a fan of teams that struggle just year in and year out. I'm looking at maybe broadening my horizons a little bit and following some different teams just to add to my experience as a fan. So I thought it was interesting to get on. Like I said, I don't intentionally make this all about Michigan-based sports, but it seems like that's been the people that I've been able to get commitment from to come on and talk about different things. So again, that was Ronnie. Right now, it looks like the Mets are up again 1-0. Probably in the middle innings. I'm looking at a commercial right now. But, hey, thanks for pressing play. Like I said, you can check out, I'm starting right now at the commercial that you heard, which was for goingfor2.com for all of you daily fantasy sports guys. My material really won't be daily fantasy sports, but I'll have some sports related stuff and some entertainment, as I tend to do here on Pay Me No Mind. So again, like my man B Meeks of Agreed to Disagree says, thank you 3,000% for pressing play and spending any of your time with me, and until next time.
Proceed to roll my piece. Backwoods and the onion of green. Burn one, take a break in between. Exhale. My stress, my pain.